Hey everybody, here's another episode doing a review for a comic book that not a lot of people have seen, which is really unfortunate because it has some great art and some great writing. The Young Master. But first, I'd like to introduce you to some of my art, which hopefully you might check out on either Patreon uh, under Alex Turbin, or you could get it at my website at alexanderturbin.com. I do a monthly comic, Random Access, which is a 12-page full color comic. You can check those out for $2 a month, or you can just go to my website. I also do various other projects like the Forlorn and Mutandis. So those are all at my website, alexanderturbin.com, and check those out to help support the channel, and I really appreciate it. So this is The Young Master, and it was written by Larry Hama, who also did G.I. Joe, Wolverine, Nth Man, and a whole bunch of other things. He's quite a well-known writer. It was done in 1987 by drawn by Val Mayerick, who did created Howard the Duck and worked on The Punisher and Fallen Angels, and he did a few other projects. Um, to be honest, I didn't really love Val Mayerick's art for Marvel and DC. I kind of felt like it was a little stale, and I just wasn't really attracted to it. I'm not going to crap on him or anything because I think he's perfectly capable. He was perfectly capable in doing those jobs. But when you look at a young master, you kind of get the feeling that in those other jobs he was not really putting his full effort into it, because you look at some of these covers and the interiors of this art, and it's just gorgeous. The colors, the poses, the everything is just beautiful. And I feel like he really put his whole effort, his whole art heart into each and every issue, each and every illustration for the covers or back covers or whatever. I mean, I'd love to have these on my wall as pictures. That'd be awesome. Um, Like, look at this beautiful cover, and I love the fact that the name of the logo is up in the left hand corner, and it doesn't take up hardly any of the art. I love that, but it also, you like, don't really know what it is. New Comics Group. Why would they put that higher on the hierarchy than the actual name of the book? Like, it should be Young Masters here and then the New Comics Group, because it's very confusing as to what it actually is. Um, but the covers and back covers are probably the highlights of the books artistically. They're just beautiful. I love the covers, love the colors. They're gorgeous. So, like I said, this was made in 1987, and and the artwork is beautiful. I have no problem with the artwork at all. It's gorgeous. The narrative art is really great. You have some great, almost, it's not an establishing shot, but you know what's going on. You know where he is. So it kind of is the establishing shot. Usually I think of an establishing shot like a building or a location, but this is more what the guy's doing. He's chopping wood, and the title of the story is The Art of Killing, and the book and all of the series, they're kind of have different titles, and they're broken up in different ways, um, like The Art of Killing. So you have this main character, chopping wood, and then he's attacked by this ninja samurai dude. He's wearing a mask, and then he kicks it off, and the artwork reminds me a lot of Savage Sword of Conan. Like it's really nice ink work, and you've got like a lot of really nice gray tones. My only problem is I think that I would have had the gradation a little bit more. Like you have his face here, and there's some gray tones, but I kind of feel like it would have been nicer if there'd been a little bit more gradation between the lights and the darks. Which I've heard that when you do gray tones that you want to use really whites and really dark darks, but I kind of feel like the gray tones would have been a little bit better, um, graded a little bit more. But the action is smooth. The panel layout is beautiful. It goes from scene to scene, and there's really no breakup. There's a lot of text, and the writing is very capable. There's a little bit too much text. Um, because like it's an action book, so it's really hard to get that balance of writing and action in the panels because you don't want to break the illusion of the action. Because I mean, if it's an action comic, then that's what you want to do. But so they go from the action to the actual talking and dialogue and stuff to pretty well. So you have the young master here, and you have the old master, and he's kind of teaching him his ways, and it's his father. And he has some uncles, and each uncle is a master in the art of different things. Like this guy's the master spear, this guy's the master throwing star, and this one's the sword, a horse killing sword. Um, this very much reads like a 70s, 80s kung fu flick. Um, I don't really know the difference between a kung fu flick and a samurai flick, but there because it seems like there were way more kung fu flicks. But then it goes into detail on how each uncle would train him in different arts of war and learning the different disciplines of their art. And like I said, again, the beautiful artwork, like it's I don't know if it's brush. It's probably a combination of brush and pen and a lot of wash techniques. Um, like I said, I think it could use a little bit more gradation. And he uses this background technique quite a lot where it's like a kind of a um, scratchy wash, which it's, it is what it is. But lots of good action. The old man, he's getting old and he misses an acorn that he's trying to cut with a sword. The story is super traditional samurai fare. Um, like I said, it reminds you of a kung fu movie or samurai movie. Um, I think this is really inspired a lot by Lone Wolf and Cub, which I don't know why it wouldn't be, but it reads almost like a Lone Wolf and Cub story. Um, but so the young master is given a note by his three uncles, and the young master feels like something is going on. Something's off with his uncles, so he kills all of them, and thinking that the note is something like kill your uncles or their uncles are going to kill you or something like that. So he goes through, and this is quite a violent, which you would expect every samurai story to be, very violent. And so he kills his three uncles that were supposed to teach him the ways, and it's the great lord is the one that he like controls everything, and he's the one that left the note for the young master. And then it was a blank piece of paper, which it was he was supposed to kill his uncles to prove his loyalty and his worthiness and all of this stuff. So then he also has to kill his dad, um, because the old master has to be replaced by the young master, and that's it is what it is. Kind of cool. He shows him one last thing because even though he stabs him in the chest, his last lesson is that he can hold the sword inside his chest and have it not move, which is pretty cool. So there's lots more dialogue. So it's interspersed action dialogue, which is really what you want, because you don't want just nonstop action and kind of goofiness. See, this is the gradation technique. I was thinking it's more like a watercolor than it is a just a black and white wash type thing. Um, so he kills his old man. Then he goes off in search of what the Lord wants him to do. And then we have a story here, which is just like a 2-page story that doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the rest of the book. So then he's given another piece of information that the young master is supposed to go somewhere to learn more about what the Lord wants. So he goes off to meet this Zen Buddhist archer, and more action. They're interrupted in their introductions by 3 ninjas, and they both take care of them, which is pretty cool action. And then the archer actually dopes up the young master, and he captures him. And he's told by the Lord that he's supposed to refine the young master's mind and make him more intelligent and smarter. So he has him captured, and for every book that the young master, or for every 10 books the young master reads, he gets 1 bowl of rice. And he also has puzzles. And for every 10 puzzles that the young master solves, he gets 1 liter of water or whatever. So he spends months and months trying to read the books and decipher the puzzles and figure out what the Lord wants from him. But he knows that his very last test is going to be, he's going to have to defeat this archer he shoots iron arrows. I think the whole thing is iron, because he says that only this archer would be able to shoot a fully iron arrow. So that's cool. So he spends his whole time trying to figure out how's he going to beat the arrow, how's he going to beat the archer. And what he comes to realize is that he doesn't beat the archer, he beats the arrow, because the last thing he has to do is he has to go and infiltrate the Lord's enemy. And the only way he could do that is if he goes to the Lord's enemy with a token that will grant him passage into the enemy's stronghold. So he has all of these different items that he could bring, and he has to choose. Like one's a samurai helmet, one's a Buddha statue, one's a knife. But just like everything in this book, it's not what it seems. So he makes the choice, but as he makes the choice, the archer shoots him with his iron arrow, and it actually hits the young master. But the young master uses his sword and cuts off the archer's head. And as you see, the iron arrow is still in his chest, and he just happens to be able to cut the archer's head off, and it goes into the box that was supposed to hold the token. And you realize that one of the books that he was reading actually has the arrow stuck in it. So he defeated the arrow by having the book kind of like Good, Bad, and the Ugly, where Clint Eastwood fashions himself an iron chest thing to stop the bullets. So he cuts the guy's head off and then leaves, and that is the end of the story. There's another story after this one, which is like 5 pages. I know it's more like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 pages, which I'm not going to get into because I'm really into the young master and talking about what that's all about. So the writing is adequate. It's good. It's good. I would say it's good. The plot is probably the strongest part. It's not overly emotional or anything like that. It's just lots of action, lots of exposition, and lots of plot, and it's super samurai, typical samurai stuff, which is good. It's good, but it also doesn't have like when you think of like Frank Miller writing samurai stuff, it's kind of grabs you in a different way. It it more like you really can feel the environment and the weapons and like the sweat coming off of their brow and the motions that they're making. This is more kind of like this happens and then this happens. Um, so it's not as good as a top tier writer like Frank Miller, but it really does the job, and it's an enjoyable story. The whole thing is an enjoyable book. Um, and the art, like I said, I think Val he really makes it his own. I think this is probably his best work, I would say. Um, so I would say I would give this if I was gonna give this a grade of 5 stars. I would say 4 stars because I really like it. I love samurai stuff. Um, and it really has stuck with me because the scene where he's kidnapped and brought into the cell and he has to solve the puzzles and read the books. That's something that I never forgot. And I got this in '87 when it first came out. So it really stuck with me. The that whole aspect, and the art is, like I said, is beautiful. The cover, the back cover is gorgeous. um so yeah, I would give it a 4.5 stars out of 5. So that's it for this week. Thanks a lot, have a great one.